Welcome back. It's your boy Fresh.
And I'm Mary, and we are a Co-ople of nerds.
Welcome to the Saga Genesis, episode January 1990.
Genesis done.
The real gamers all have the same favorite console, the Sega Genesis. Is it a surprise? God loves Sega so much, he named the first book in the Bible Genesis.
Genesis.
16-bit sports action.
After all, the Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
Gotta go. Hey, guy, you're the first serious gamer I've seen all morning. Check this out. Brand new 16-bit Super Nintendo with Super Mario World. Wow!
What's this one?
Oh, this is a Sonic the Hedgehog from Sega Genesis.
In 2024, the Genesis turns 35 years old. Close your eyes and imagine yourself 35 years ago. Personally, I was swimming around in my dad's ball sack while Mary was wrapping up her sophomore year of college. Life was so much simpler back then. Don't you wish you could go back in time and relive those years?
Not here.
But this time, your parents are loaded, like crazy super rich. They decided rather than showing you love and affection, they will buy you each Sega game as it's released. That is a win-win for both parties.
Weird when they see you've got Stimpy's invention.
In this series, we will travel 35 years into the past each month, where we will collect, review, and rank every North American licensed Sega Genesis game ever made, except for Outback Joey.
Powdered toast, man.
F. Outback Joey.
To save himself, he launches a right hand to the kangaroo's snout.
And all of Australia, for that matter.
The Sega Genesis has blast processing. Super Nintendo doesn't.
We will be using the generally accepted list of games and their release dates. Did we get one wrong?
Shut up, nerd. Shut up, nerd.
Welcome to the Saga Genesis.
And what if you don't have blast processing?
So they started off the year right in 1990. In January of 1990, on the 2nd, Sting joined the Four Horsemen with Ric Flair. And on the 7th, the Tower of Pisa was closed to the public for leaning too far.
Oh, did they raise it?
I don't know. Maybe they stabilized it. I just felt like that was an interesting, fun fact. I never knew that that Tower of Pisa ever leaned so far that they're like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah,
a little too far there.
Put a coaster under it.
And on the 8th, Sinead O'Connor released her single, Nothing Compares to You.
She wrote that about me.
The album with that single didn't come out till March, but that single came out on January 8th. And on the 19th, the first Tremors movie was released.
There you go. Classic.
I love Tremors.
I don't think that did well box office wise, but became a cult classic
I think it's great.
on VHS. Well, it probably didn't have the biggest budget, didn't get a bunch of marketing, so.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so the first game for January of 1990 is Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle. So the Japanese title for this is Alex Kidd, Tenku Maju, maybe? It was developed and published by Sega. The designers are Kotaro Hayashida and Hirokazu Yashiwara. Artists Reiko Kodama and Naito Oshima. Composer Chikako Kamatani. And the genre is a platformer, but it only plays one player.
Yes, this whole thing is designed to make Mary say Japanese names.
I will have learned fluent Japanese by the end of the Saga Genesis.
That's right. Alex's father, King Thor, is missing, and the people suspect the mean ruler of Paper Rock, Ashra. is behind the kidnapping. Alex will have to battle through 11 stages to save him. You can collect power-ups by playing games of Rochambeau and gambling houses. If you lose the game, a giant rock crushes you and you lose your money but not your life. In the Japanese game, you lose your clothes and have to wear a fig leaf. Got a little Japanese, man. You can collect power-ups along the way to help you on your journey, including the best one, a power bracelet, which shoots like a, sort of like the fire flower Mario, it shoots a beam. A motorcycle, a pogo stick, and a pedocopter, which I assume, or pedicopter, which I assume is a copter that you pedal. Dubbed the Super Mario Killer, as in once you played Alex Kidd, you will never want to play another Mario game again. The slippery platforming, floaty jumps, and inconsistent jump kick, one-hit deaths, and paper rock scissor boss battles led the 5th game in the Alex Kidd series to be the first and only on the Genesis. Did not quite kill Mario like they were hoping.
No, it's way too difficult to kill Mario.
We got our first cover art battle!
So we have North America and PAL versus
PAL.
Japan.
Yeah. So, I will say this. I hate both these pieces of art.
Yeah, they're both.
The Japanese one, he looks like a monkey who's a Beatles fan, but that's how he looks in the game.
Yeah. Well, it's also, I feel like, somewhat consistent across the artwork. The one on the North America PAL one is... I don't know. It's just weird.
You know, like the floating head. I think it's like...
The way... The floating head, either it needs to be all cartoonish or very realistic, and it's in between. And so I'm not a fan of that. With a very realistic background, you know, with like the Egyptian statue. So I like the Japan one.
Oh. Like, I don't like either. But gun to the head, I'm going to vote for consistency. And he does have the giant sideburns in the game. So I'll pick Japan as well. Mm-hmm. Okay, next game. Herzog's Way.
This was developed by Technosoft. It was published by Sega. The programmer was Takashi Iwanaga. The composer was Naosuke Arai and Tomami Otani. The genre is real-time strategy, and it's 1 or 2 player competitive.
The sequel to Herzog that was released for Japanese home computers in 1988. A real-time strategy game on the Genesis. Can you imagine the balls to release something like this so early in the Genesis lifecycle? Modern consoles today still don't have very many RTS games. Credited with being the inspiration behind all-time great games like Warcraft, StarCraft, Doom 2, and Command & Conquer. You control a fighter jet that can transform into a mech to blast enemy units. There are 8 maps with their own terrain styles. There are 4 different difficulty levels for each map. You need to create various units including infantry, motorcycles, tanks, boats, and anti-aircraft. When you create a unit, you need to give it a command such as hold position, control, engage, occupy. You can pick up each individual unit and change its command, but you cannot select multiple units. This is not a pick up and play game. You need a manual. The commands and units are not explained. They use abbreviations and cloudy images. There's plenty of room to spell it out on the menu, they just did not do it. and that hurts the game's playability.
And we have our second cover battle art.
Yes, cover art.
Cover art battle.
This is the exact opposite of Alex Kidd.
They're both good.
In which I love both these pieces of art.
Yeah. So North America PAL versus Japan.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I'm going to point out, which I think causes its defeat, in the E, O, and G of Herzog, they did not color it in with the background color. They just left it white.
Okay. I have a different observation.
Okay.
On the Japan cover, I feel like the explosions aren't as realistic as they are on the North America one. So they have like these like almost a firework look to them. While the ones on the North America one look like a real explosion with like smoke and fire in the middle. So, because I think they're both really good. But that's that would probably be the defining reason why I would pick North America on that one.
Yeah, I agree. The font. I also think visually looks a little better. Like it's showing the mech versus fighter jet, and I think having the mech in the foreground, it's a little obscure. If you don't know that's a mech, it kind of looks like a twisted piece of metal. You're not quite sure. I think having the plane in the foreground, since that's such a more recognizable image, just looks a little better. But
so it looks like North America PAL wins on that one.
That's right. Final game. Zoom.
So this was developed by Discovery Software, is published by Sega. The designer is Suika Funabasi. The programmer is Hiroshi Sato and Masaya Takayama. The genre is puzzle, and it's a 1 or 2 player co-op. You love puzzle games.
I do love puzzle games. Come on, boy. Earth has been captured by space phantoms using magical force fields. It's up to Mr. Smart to disable the shields. Come on, boy. You must trace the outline of each square while dodging enemies that hunt you down. Come on, boy. You can jump and shoot a projectile out of your rear to stun enemies. Come on, boy. Dodge enemies while you collect power-ups that can slow enemies, freeze them, make you invincible, or win on the spot with the angel feather. Come on, boy.
Yeah, no. No.
So we got our last cover art battle. Again, North America and PAL teamed up against Japan.
Yeah, so to me there's a very obvious winner on this one.
What is it?
Japan. I mean, it's almost scary what the North America PAL one looks like. Like it's like a smooth egg potato head with a kind of a human face on it. At least the Japan one, looks kind of cute and cartoonish.
Yeah, a little more fuzzy and all that.
Yeah.
No, I agree. The North American PAL is very creepy.
Yeah.
All right. So we will jump into the rankings. At number 7, we have Herzog's Way. And this game is great. But this game is a game you have to practice. When I first plugged it in, I was like, what in the F am I doing? I have no idea what's going on with the controls, not doing anything. So if you don't have the manual, I had to print my manual off from Price Charting or maybe GameFAQs because I just have it loose, which I do think hurts the game overall. I think if it was, had a little more ease of use and some of a little bit more directions, a little bit more explanation when you're picking and choosing units. You have to give the unit the command when creating the unit, which is a little bit of a pain, because if you need to switch, you got to fly over, pick them up, give them a new command, set them back down. So you can't just, normal modern day real-time strategies, you can select to try a group of people and give them all the same command. This, you have to do one at a time. But I do love just the guts to say, we're going to make a real-time strategy game on this console. And then all the way down, almost at the bottom, we got Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle at 17. This is it. Every level feels like a Mario Ice level. Your character is slipping and sliding everywhere.
Oh no!
And every jump feels like some of the later Marios had like moon levels, where it's like you're kind of floaty on your jumps.
Or like when he's swimming underwater.
Well, there's underwater levels in Alex Kidd too. So yeah, slippery controls in a platformer just don't work. And then the whole boss battle, rock paper scissors fight, that was so disappointing. Even the final boss of the game is rock paper scissors. Like, either there's a pattern which you could just memorize it, so it doesn't make it fun, or it's completely random. You can't have a boss battle just be completely random.
There's no like special skill to that.
Right. It's not like, oh, I need to learn Bowser's, pattern, and then I can beat him. It's if there's a pattern, you just pick a button and you win. So I can't do that. And then number 18, just above Tommy Lasorda baseball. So Tommy Lasorda is still in last, but it's Zoom. This game is so... It's like somehow they managed to combine frustrating and annoying. Every time you complete a square, he says, "Come on, boy." So, you get like kind of, as you're going through this grid, sometimes you'll get a whole bunch of them in a row. It's just, "Come on, boy, come on, boy, come on, boy." Over and over and over, and it's like, oh my God, how are you that annoying? And then he runs too fast, or the squares are too close together, however you want to look at it. So you're always missing your turn, and the whole shooting behind, you can only shoot behind you can't shoot in front of you. So it's,
is it because he's shooting at his butt?
I don't know what it doesn't say he has a gun. He doesn't look like he has a gun in any of the images. So I don't know what he's shooting at backwards. I guess he's just pooping on people while running. But yeah, I can't get on board. If a puzzle game needs to have clear, concise controls, because all it is, all you're doing is a puzzle. So to have him running so fast and missing that turn and, smacking into an enemy, you just can't do it for a puzzle game. And don't be annoying with it. Like, have cool music, have cool sound effects. Not some guy yelling at little boys.
Come on, boy.
Come on, boy. That is our ranking for January 1990. Not the best month. Not the best month. Two at the bottom. But Herzog's Way, I think that's a game that requires effort and a significant time investment. But I think if you do that, your enjoyment of that game will skyrocket.
Okay.
But who has time right
Nobody
now?
has time.
Let us know down in the comments section what you think of these games, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey, Pumpkin.
Yes?
Both the kids are sick.
Yeah. So now everyone's tired.
Georgie. What? We're doing a video. You need to be quiet. Okay. Okay.